Record to this. Good morning. This is Rosemary, and this is the Lightwalker's Path. And it is a place for enlightening conversation and to find your soul's purpose. And today I have a fascinating guest named Craig Meriwether. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Rosemary.
And Craig is a past life regressionist, medical hypnosis specialist, certified in clinical hypnosis, the founder of the Arizona Integrative Hypnotherapy. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
the
And
mouthful. I know.
you also do NLP, right? Is that
Right.
a form? Okay. And you have a guidebook, a past life guidebook. So I'm fascinated to talk to you today.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun conversation. I know we were talking a little bit off camera, if you will, about your own past life experience. So it's going to be a
Yes.
fun conversation.
Yes. So it wasn't pleasant when I came out of it, but I learned
Oh.
so much. And here's why. I loved it, and I would suggest that people do it
Mhm.
when they're ready. Because my person that regressed me told me to go back to an area of my life that I needed healing in my past life. That's why
Mhm.
I'm saying it wasn't as
Yeah.
fun, like I'd want to be in a
Oh,
certain
okay.
one, but I got to a different one. But it was really helpful and it brought some truth from the past to now. So I was able to see patterns and things that I needed to clear. So that was super cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd say it's a great experience, but you have to be ready for it and you have to be open for it, right?
Yeah, yeah, certainly. And your intention, you have to have that focus of what your intention is for the session. And, some people want to go back and do the deeper healing work of maybe there's some sort of connection, some sort of tie, a cord connecting you to a
Hmm.
past life that may be unknown, or maybe it's very clear
Hmm.
what the issue is. Other times, yeah, it can be more of a fun discovery, an
Hmm.
exploration. That's
Hmm.
certainly valid and a fun way to experience this, just to see what other past lives you've
Hmm.
experienced. Maybe it's more general.
Hmm.
Maybe it's go back to the past life that is most influencing this current life. Now, that could be
Hmm.
a 50-50. Is it going to be rather intense? Is it going to be rather enjoyable and fun?
Hmm.
But you can also be very, very specific. If somebody maybe is dealing with some anxiety or some hurt and pain or some anger, they've been through the talk therapy. Because what I find in my work when I'm working with people, I'm usually not top of the list,
Hmm.
of healing professionals to go to when you're dealing with that anger or that overwhelm or that hurt or the pain or those
Hmm.
relationship issues, those loops
Yeah.
maybe somebody finds themselves in. And it's maybe they read a Brian Weiss book or they
Yes.
read Lars Cannon or
Yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Newton or somebody.
All the above.
Yeah, yeah, or all the stuff. And there's that intuition, that little spark, that
Uh,
intuition that says, this feels familiar. This feels like this may be something. I wonder if I should.
yes.
They start exploring, they start looking, they start the Googling, and then they come and say, look, I've been working on this for years. I've been struggling
Yeah.
this for decades. And I just feel this tension, I feel this pressure, I feel this hurt, and I don't know why. And that's enough.
Yeah.
Go back to the past life that where you experience that hurt. It's sort of like turning the channel on the TV. You
Oh,
turn the TV
absolutely.
on, and
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know what's on channel 10, but I just know every time, but let's turn to channel 10 because I know it's sports,
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, okay, I don't know what exactly is on at this time, but let's turn it to channel 10 and watch some sports. And so you have that experience with it. So it can be very, very
Yeah.
general. I want to watch some athletics. And so you turn to channel 10. Or it could be something very, very, very specific. It's
So
up to you.
I have
It's
a
your
question.
intention.
I have a
Yeah.
question for
Oh,
you
sure.
because I was thinking about um, you know, some people will do past life regression. My question is, do you also do other types of regression? Because I know that the subconscious is kind of the tail that wags the dog.
Mhm.
Even things that happen in this lifetime before the age of 3 lock into the subconscious mind and can affect how you deal with life. So my question is do you do specifically past life, or do you also work with people with other things in this lifetime that they can use
Yeah, yeah.
hypnosis to heal from?
Yeah, yeah. So my foundation is clinical hypnotherapy.
Hmm.
But the reason I chose the training I did at the Hypnotherapy Academy of America, great school, a wonderful school, people from around the world. We had people from Europe
Hmm.
and Asia and when I did my training there. And this is intensive training.
Oh
It's
yeah.
500 hours.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 months of total training, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. This isn't like a
Wow.
university history class that's
Yeah.
1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesdays and
Yeah.
Thursdays. This is all week long. Plus, there's homework in the evenings. There's study groups on the weekend. You're working with each
It's
other.
serious. It's
Yeah,
serious
it's
business.
very,
I
very
know.
serious.
Yeah.
And just to give somebody a kind of an idea of the kind of training to be an EMT, emergency medical technicians in an ambulance, you're restarting hearts and
Hmm.
helping people with adrenaline, and you're doing
Right.
IVs and oxygen, keep CPR and all that. That's 150 hours.
Hmm.
So this total is $500. But the reason why I wanted is not only because of the extensive training in clinical hypnotherapy and medical hypnosis, so the pain control and
Hmm.
healing acceleration, that kind of thing. But the last module, the last 2 weeks, is past life
I
regression.
think that's wild.
Mm.
And I think it's really healing because going through it, I actually was regressed
Mm.
3 times.
Okay.
And the first time was, the person was good at it, but they just said, okay, goodbye. And then I left, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was so
Yeah.
emotional. The second person was my master teacher because I'm a healer and a Reiki master teacher. And so she regressed me twice. And I asked her specifically to put me in places where I need to clear something for my soul so I can help people the best that I can. And it was very different. It was a beautiful experience. It was emotional, but it brought out what I needed. And then she talked to me after. So it really, really helped. So I can see that it's super important for someone to be well versed in what do you do? Like when a person's going through
Mhm.
this memory and you just send them off or you give them a couple minutes of like, talk
Yeah.
time or something. So it's important that you're well trained and I appreciate that you've done that. That's
Yeah. Well,
super
and
cool.
that hit me very deeply during training because there was a story that one of the teachers told during the past life regression module. And he was talking about, and that'd be 40 years ago when he
Hmm.
started his training. And he was talking to a friend of his, and he says, "Yeah, I'm focusing on past life regression. I'm training in
Hmm.
hypnotherapy." And his friends, oh, my ex-wife went to do a past life regression,
Hmm.
and she did something. I went back to the medieval times,
Hmm.
and she was kind of a thorn in the side of the authorities in her village, in her community. Kind of had a big mouth. And so,
Hmm.
in order to shut that down and stop any sort of rebellion or anarchy that might have happened, they threw her in jail and then tortured her to death,
Yeah,
starved her to death. And she realized during that past life regression that her jailer who tortured her to death was her husband in this life. And they
yeah, it
got
happens a
divorced.
lot. It happens
Yeah,
a
but
lot.
they got divorced, and the
Yeah,
issue was there was no healing around that,
right,
you
right,
know,
because you don't
and
know
that
what it
literally,
is.
yeah, and that literally destroyed lives. And
Yeah.
there's a divorce decree in New Mexico, in the county courthouse in Santa Fe that mentions past life regression was
Yeah,
part. I'm
wow.
sure they had other issues,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, and that's kind of the difference between maybe just going to somebody who does this for fun and let's open the door and see what's behind, and
Yeah, gotta know
wow,
what
that
you're
was super
doing.
intense. See you later.
Yeah,
Uh, and I write about that in the book, the Past Lives Guidebook, that healing is the purpose
it
of it.
is.
And if there's
Yeah,
not specific healing you're looking for, at least some insight to maybe
yeah.
direction in how to move forward in this life. Because I'm a firm believer in the Michael Newton uh, kind of protocols of doing this work. In that we're here to learn and we're here to grow as souls. His books are extraordinary because it's not just him working with one or two people and this is their story.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
that, he's channeling this information
Oh,
or
I agree.
he
Yeah.
worked with thousands of people over decades. He
Hmm.
accidentally regressed somebody, accidentally, quote unquote, but he's trying to get somebody back to childhood as a psychotherapist. He was regressing somebody using hypnosis to go back to childhood, and they went all the way back to the soul world,
Oh,
to
yeah.
life between lives. And he was excited about that. He found that fascinating. He started working with people, seeing if he could do it again. He developed this protocol of getting people back to that state. And then he noticed that people are having similar experiences,
Right.
even though they
I
didn't know each other.
agree.
This is the 1970s.
Yeah.
It's not like there's the internet or they can call each
Sure,
other
sure.
or there's meetings
Yeah.
or
I
anything. It's
mean, I've
like,
read a lot of information
yeah.
too about kids' past lives. I'm an Akashic record reader, so when I do channeling and I do messages for people, I connect with their angels, but I also get past life information. But
Mhm.
the past life that comes in is an area that impacts today that they
Mm.
need to understand in order to move forward. Just like, when people do ghost work too. It's like the purpose of dealing with people that are stuck here is to send them over and help them heal, not just an entertainment to talk to ghosts.
Right.
Like to me, that's the way I look at all
Yeah.
kinds of things in this realm. It's like we're supposed to be helpers and healers. We're not supposed to just say,
Mhm.
let's see what's going on and just like put a bomb in someone's life and go away.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah. So the life between life, I want to ask
Mhm.
about what you've discovered personally, because you're more interesting than this other guy I don't know. Like I want to know what you know. So I want to know, like when you regress someone and you see life before life, are you seeing like realms? Are you seeing planets? Are you discovering just the other side, where we rest or before we come back and
Mm.
recirculate?
Yeah. Well, and people have different experiences,
Hmm.
and they may not even necessarily see anything or visualize anything. Of course, we have the five senses,
Yeah,
and they may experience it in a different way. Especially even the
sensory.
past life, it's
Hmm.
not necessarily like a point of view because some people have that experience
Yeah,
when they're doing a past life
right.
or life between lives. It's like they're there and they're kind of the camera's kind of their eyeballs and they're moving around. Other people may experience it that they're standing off to the side watching themselves interact with this past life. Some other people may
Right.
see it like it's a movie screen.
Yeah.
And they're like kind of
If you're
disassociated from
visual, I
it
think
that
some
way.
people are more visual. Like I felt
Yeah.
sensory what was happening and I got like flashes of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's, claircognizant, there's clairvoyant, there's clairauditory.
Hmm.
People
Hmm.
might just hear like a narration,
Hmm.
maybe seeing fuzzy images. And that
Right.
may be because it's rather intense.
Yeah.
And your higher self and your spirit guides will direct how you're supposed to experience it. And that's
Mhm.
I think a little bit of the people's frustration is they read Brian Weiss or they read Dolores Cannon. They say, "Oh, this is what the
It's
experience will
always
be like."
different. Yeah. I
Eight,
actually met
8 billion
Brian.
people in the world.
I did a
Everybody,
regression with Brian Rice and a whole group, Brian
yeah,
Weiss, years ago in New York, and it was amazing because he was with a whole crowd of people, and we all went under. And I had, spontaneous recall of something, and my friend did, and it was pretty cool. But again, it's like it's so. I think everything's so unique to each of us, even healing work, and even how we process information. So for me, like I wasn't really visual the first time I was regressed, but again, mine came in dreams after, and it came
yeah,
in emotions of knowing what was true. So
yeah,
I had different experiences maybe than other people might, but everybody's different. You don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too. That's a extraordinary point. Is that the learning and the insights and the discovery, even the healing, isn't just over when you walk out the door. Or
Oh
the
no.
well, I do most of this stuff over Zoom nowadays, as I'm sure you do too. It's like, um, or once the Zoom call is over, the days, the weeks, the months
Yeah.
later,
Starts to unearth.
discoveries, insights, because really what we're doing to a certain extent, and this maybe not be the greatest analogy in the world, but it's sort of like we're taking this 5D information through a funnel into our 3D
Hmm.
brain to try
Hmm.
and understand it. And so we'll come up with certain symbolisms and metaphors
Symbols.
and
Yeah.
allegories and storytelling to help experience it. And that's why I think so many people have different experiences of life between lives, or even
Yeah.
how they experience a past life, is because this brain, this 3D brain of ours, is trying to take this extraordinary, this fire hose of
Yes.
information
And then just
and
pull
distill it
out.
into like how we can sort of like your TV.
Hmm.
Um, it has the ability to take these frequencies
And then
and
hone
bring
it.
them into sound and into imagery. And
Hmm.
so our brain does similar things, but again, it's sort of like this
Concern.
extraordinary 5D information that we now have to somehow turn into 3D information. And how's that
Yes.
going to look? It's probably going to look different for different people. Sort
Yeah.
of like, I don't know if anybody saw that wonderful movie Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey and
Hmm.
Anne Hathaway. Christopher Nolan movie came out, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago at this point. And so, it's a great movie, and I'm not giving anything away, but just if you've seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about at the very end when there's that's stuck in the Tesseract, and
Yeah.
there's this 5D information that he's trying to get through to
Yeah.
Earth in a 3D world. And
In the
how's he going to
3D
do
world.
that? Through the
It's just
book,
like now, you know.
through
It's
the
just,
watch, through the dust on the floor. And
yeah.
so you have to find these other ways of trying to bring in this extraordinary information. And sometimes the brain, somebody sees it this way, somebody experiences a different way,
Yeah.
but it's all
Yeah.
valid in the way you experience it.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask, when you started this, I know that that my angels are ready they're ready chatting you up here, but I know you're already intuitive and I know you had early experiences. So my question is, what actually got you into doing the regression? Like what experiences for you that you're willing to share got you there? Was it some vision? Was it your own guides pushing you? Was it an internal thing? Like what actually got you to move along this pathway? Because all of us and I know this too because of my own life. It's like all of us that are in the healing realm, we're kind of like there's no choice. You just kind of know that's the way you got to go, and something will usually kind of push us there. So
Yeah, yeah.
what was yours?
I'll try to turn this into a 2 minute little description because I could probably go on for hours and hours. But I was always very interested in the spiritual side of things. I grew up in the Episcopal Church, which I
Hmm.
actually really it's kind of Catholicism light, but it has the robes and the candles and the rituals and the
Catholic without
ceremony,
the
which
guilt.
yeah, Catholic without the guilt. And I always liked that, and I also then went to a Baptist run school, so I was very
Yeah, indoctrinated.
indoctrinated. I hate that word, but it's the way I grew up. And for college, I went to UC Santa Cruz, University of California at Santa Cruz, and that opened me up to extraordinary amount of different cultures
Cultures, yeah.
and ways of thinking and philosophies and spiritualities. uh, you get into it with the music and there's dance and there's all
Hmm.
these cultural
The
fairs
Sufis, yeah.
and at that point in time, back in the early 90s, downtown Santa Cruz had something like ridiculous, like 7 or 8 bookstores. They're all kind of focused on
Uh-huh.
different things. And you go in these bookstores, and the used
You
bookstore had these huge sections of
metaphysical.
spirituality and New
Uh-huh.
Age. And of course, there was the New Age bookstore. And so it opened up my mind to these other ways of thinking and other ways of thinking about life and the
Hmm.
afterlife and who we are. And it just kind of expanded and grew all the same time. I was struggling with my own anxiety and depression that I kind of
Hmm.
grew up with. And one of the things that I found helped me after lots of research and just reading books and personal development and personal growth was hypnotherapy.
Hmm.
So as that started the ball rolling on consciousness and healing and
Yeah,
and
mind body.
fascinating conversations you'd have about that and finding your own healing through your own pain, oh, it opened it up to even more around consciousness and healing and trance
Hmm.
states and altered states of consciousness and all through myself, not through, nowadays ayahuasca is very popular and
Hmm.
easy to do.
Hmm.
Back then, that wasn't the case, certainly. But it was through these trance states that find interesting
Hmm.
explorations and discoveries. But yeah, it was with kind of an experience of a spontaneous past life regression of
Hmm.
really experiencing the emotional hurt with another person I was actually on the phone with.
Hmm.
Um, and again, a long story that I'm leaving a lot out, but
It's okay.
it was that experience of not understanding what happened.
Why? Yeah,
So it's sort of like it was a channeling, I guess, or
yeah.
I was the vessel or the antenna for some sort of healing, and still some 12 years later, a little bit of an unknown. But the experience of that really even led me down further.
Hmm.
And kind of later in life, I was saying, I wanted to pivot. I wanted to do
Yeah,
some more of this healing work with others. And what I chose or what chose me or however that worked out is hypnotherapy.
yeah.
But the more spiritual side of it, the
More
more
spiritual.
esoteric
And that's what I think it
side of
is. I
it,
mean, you're dealing with
yeah, the
soul
more
level.
yeah, the more mystical side was really
Mhm.
fascinating to me. And that's when in researching and looking around, and I found the best training was going to be at the Hypnotherapy Academy. And
Love that.
90% of the reason why I went there was because of that last 2 weeks of
Yeah. It's
intensive training and
yeah,
past life careers.
so
Because you can find
interesting.
it, certainly.
Yeah,
It's like a 2 hour course or a
right. But I think
one-hour
what you did
video
is
or a
really
little,
good because you're
yeah, and
bringing people to a deeper level. And
yeah.
I think the spiritual healing happens in the subconscious. I had actually come here at maybe 2 years old, and I knew I was here before.
Mm,
I have
yeah, children.
recall of looking at my mother, and I couldn't understand why she was talking to me like I'm a child when clearly I'm an adult. I must have been two. And I remember I was imagining myself in a white caftan, And I had a lot of weird stuff like when I was a kid. People would always come to me and tell me things, but my whole life it's been like that. So, my journey was always, to help people no matter where, no matter when. And it just, people draw to me that way. But it's so cool because I always kind of had this really early understanding, even though I was raised Roman Catholic, that we were here before and our souls repeat. So when I
Yeah.
came across this information, like when my 30s, I'm like, this is awesome. Like I knew this and here it is, other people know this too. And then it
Yeah.
started kind of like the seeking. But again, you're saying the books. I remember going to the library and reading across the
Yeah.
whole shelves.
Yeah.
And I did that. Then right after that, I started getting all the dreams about tuning radios, and I was getting healing hands in my room and sparkles of light and like all kinds of stuff. And then I was guided. I had to work with angels.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that was one of my most favorite parts of discovering and exploring was where do they keep the Brian Weiss books? Where's
yeah,
this library, this
right.
bookstore,
New
this,
agey, yes.
yeah, where they keep the Dolores Cannon and
Dolores Cannon, yes.
what's next to Dolores Cannon. And it's a great way to discover some of the other books that are out there. Is just
So Dolores Cannon, I'll tell you a funny thing. I was in Antigua a couple of years ago, and I just kind of said a prayer that I wanted to find something when I was there. So I go to the bookshelf and I close my eyes and I pull out a book, and don't you know it was Dolores Cannon?
yeah, of
So I'm like,
course.
oh, this is cool. So
Yeah.
I read through the book when I was on vacation, but yeah, there's so much interesting information. So I'm gonna ask you about your spirit guides. I have mainly angels, and I do have spirit guides, which I allowed in after I worked with angels for a couple of years. So tell me, do you have guides that work with you when you do hypnosis? And do you visually experience or see while the person's being regressed, or is it just from what they tell you? Like I know that you've got
Yeah.
some gifts there. So how do you do what you do?
So I do not connect with the person energetically or have their experience at all.
Okay.
I facilitate, I guide. I'm kind of like the lifeguard.
Right.
So I'm
Okay.
not getting in the pool with them.
Not getting in the pool. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And so they have their own experience. We record it, or I record it
Yeah.
technically, but you can record it too if you want. But I'll record it because I'm going to be asking questions. Now, when you're doing
Yes.
a big, huge group experience, especially like the bigger Brian Weiss
Yeah.
workshops are sometimes like 700 people. But when you're doing a group experience of 5, 10, 20 people or 100 people, obviously it has to be somewhat general.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just having your own experience. Maybe you talk about it in a small
Mm-hmm.
group or get the
Mm-hmm.
microphone and talk about it. But when you're doing a one-on-one experience, at least the way I do it, uh, we're having a conversation while you're in that
Right.
trance state, right?
Right.
And you probably have experience and
Yeah.
because you need to help guide the person. Because
Yes.
what's nice about working with a facilitator like a past life therapist is that sometimes there are doors that don't open, or there are
Mm-hmm.
walls that you feel you can't get around.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't, when you're in that trance state, you forget the questions that you were going at because it's so extraordinary, so
Yeah.
wondrous, and you
Yeah.
just want to
Yeah.
stay in this one spot. And yes, I know, understand it. It feels good. It feels bad, especially when you get up to the soul state,
Mm-hmm.
in life between lives. It feels good to be right there. But this is also an experience where discovery and
Yeah.
exploration and healing need to happen. So it does need to move forward. And that's the job of the past life therapist is to keep things moving. And the way you understand where the person is they're telling you about
I'm
it.
telling you. That was a
Now
really strange thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
that was strange, Craig, when I did it because you almost feel like you're making it up, but you're like this stuff is coming out of your mouth. You're like you're not thinking about it, and that's how you know you're not making it up. It just kind of like, oh yeah, I was. My last one, I died in a cave during an explosion. Apparently, I was a miner, and I'm like that was weird because that's the one I never knew about that life, but it made sense because I'm interested in caves and
yeah.
but it was so
Well, yeah,
strange.
it's,
Yeah,
an interesting point, and I bring this up in the book, the Past Lives Guidebook, about the skepticism and about the it's like,
yeah.
well, how do I know I'm just not making this up? And it's sort of like the Carl Jung thing. It's like, well, even if
Mm-hmm.
you are making it up, why are you making that up?
Archetype. Yeah,
You
it's an
know?
archetype that you needed or something.
Yeah, and we go and kind of go in depth of that in the book, but it's that interesting head scratcher of let's say somebody's very much into the Civil War.
Oh
They
yeah.
read all the books, they see the Kim Burns documentary over
Yes.
and over again, and they
Yes.
even have the uniform, and they
Oh
go out and do
yeah. Yes,
recreations and things. And it's like, and then they
they're
do a
drawn to
past life
it.
regression, and guess what? This
Yeah,
back in the
that's where they
Civil
were.
War. So
My son.
the idea is, oh, well, of course it's Civil War because I'm so into the Civil War in
He's
this
so into
line.
it.
So of course it was. So it's fake. But
No,
are
why? But
you
why were they
are you
so
so
drawn to it?
interested in the Civil War in this life because you experienced it, or did you experience it because you're showing this? So, and it's a bit of a chicken and the egg
Chicken and the
thing.
egg, yeah.
And so it's that thing. It's like, well, there are many things to be interested in this
Why
life.
that? Yeah.
Why that? Why
Even the
not World
even
War
the people
II?
that dress
What?
up, they do these like reenactment things.
Yeah.
Definitely. When my son was really, really little, he was really obsessed with the Civil War, and he was
Yeah.
like 6 or 7. Never read about it, didn't know anything, but he would describe stuff to me, and I know he died crossing a field, during the Civil
Mm.
War.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
that whole thing. Also, I did a angel reading for a man that was, I didn't know he was a cross-dresser, but when
Mm.
I did his reading, I described this outfit with a blonde wig and a beautiful, wealthy woman in New York City at the 1800s. And don't you
Mm.
know, that was the guy's favorite cross-dressing outfit to wear in
Yeah.
this lifetime. And I didn't know any of this. And a lot of Egyptian stuff in his home. And I talked about ancient Egypt. But it was very strange because all this came out in the reading I did. So again, I'm tapping into the universal field in a different way for people. But it's
Mm.
so cool when people experience it firsthand, like you can do, because they're seeing another piece of why they are who they are and what they learn. So
Yeah.
that's really neat.
Yeah. Because I think that's the fascinating thing about being human and your life. It's like, why are you interested in what you're interested in?
Yeah, yeah,
The different cultures, the different food, the different music, the why are
yes,
you interested in the movies you're interested in? And maybe it's just, way you were brought up or your family was into it. But a lot of times I'm wondering if the cultures you're interested in,
yeah.
the other countries you want
Probably
to
were
go
there.
visit.
Yeah,
Yeah, why do you want to go to Machu Picchu? Why do you want to go to the pyramids?
yeah,
Why are you so obsessed with Paris, France?
yeah.
It's like why not somewhere else?
That's
And
right.
I see that in my own life. Craig Meriwether, you don't get much more United Kingdom than that. Mine, like seriously, 95% of my DNA is Welsh and Scottish and Irish and
Hmm.
English, and the other 5% is a breakup of German and French. And so I have a very deep resonance and connection though to like North Africa and the Middle East,
Yeah. See,
and
but
Persia
that's your soul
and,
journey. It's like I always say, like you have your
India.
ancestral journey and you have your soul journey. And
Yeah.
your ancestral journey might be like me. My heritage is Italian, so I had a very strong resonance with Italy when I went there because that's my heritage. But I have been an Irish priest, and I've been, here and there in the world, and I was an Egyptian healer, and like all this crazy stuff. But I've had spontaneous recall and dreams about a lot of this. Like I remember hearing a ancient language and understanding it in my dream, and seeing the pyramids and the columns and like weird stuff that you can't make up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I believe the two things kind of are like pieces of who we are. You have your soul journey and you have your ancestral journey.
Yeah. Yeah. So sort of
Like intermeld.
there's these tears in the veil, and some
Hmm.
aspects of past lives kind of creep through
Yeah.
the countries. Because again, Craig Meriwether, you don't get more Great Britain than that, and yet these tears through the veil of like, okay, why am I so interested in Morocco or Persia
Hmm.
or wherever, and why does that fascinate me so, as opposed to uh, South America
Yeah. Yeah.
or Australia or New Zealand or
Right.
wherever.
Right.
Um, why? And again, it's like that thing. It's like, why do you like the music you like? Why do you like
Yeah.
the food that you like?
What instant
Food
or
that you
what the
like?
people that we're attracted to in this lifetime,
Mhm. Yeah,
could be cultural from a past life of your soul too.
yeah, yeah. Well, and also
Here,
the relationships you find yourself.
karmic. Yeah.
If
Karmic.
it's a bit of a cliche, but the old like kind of romantic
Oh
relationship,
yeah.
find yourself attracted to the same person, even though it ends up
Hmm.
toxic. It's like,
That's right.
why
The
are
pattern.
you patterns? Yeah.
Karma.
Is there something there? Is there something that needs
Yeah.
to be built? It may be certainly a construct created during this current life, maybe growing up or
Before you
high
come
school
here.
years or something.
Yeah. I
Maybe it's something else.
I think
Something.
it's a between. I think before what I've been channeling for years, but
Mm.
before you come here, you have like a blueprint, and you
Mhm.
have a basic blueprint, which is the things that you came here to do, and then there's a lot of choice around the way and what you learn from it. But I've been told it's a co-creation, so it's what
Yeah.
you need to learn. It's karma. It's positive cause and effect. it's soul journey, it's learning. So it's
Yeah.
all kind of a lot of stuff. And if you're really like an overachiever like I am, you really sign up for it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if we're here for learning and growth and development, yeah, some people may this experience I want it to be more light and free and you
Hmm.
end up running a surfboard rental company
I kind of
on
wish I
Maui or
picked that.
something. But other people like yourself or maybe somebody
Mm.
else, they like, okay, it's like those students who take the advanced classes and
Yeah.
the AP classes and they
Yeah.
take extra classes after class,
That's
after
right.
school. And it's like they want that
You want
intense
the
experience because
extra.
they want to skip a grade, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
Or, you
yeah.
know,
Yeah. I want to
they
be
want
up there. I want to
yeah,
get
yeah,
that A
or they it's
plus.
like there's been too many lives. I need a lot of healing this time.
Yeah.
Let's just
Yeah.
do it.
And
Yeah.
I think now, I was a school teacher for 32 years. So
Mm,
a lot of
cool.
the kids that I had, I can see like who they used to be. It's pretty
Mm,
cool.
yeah.
And they would you can even see it really young. And one of the things I know is a lot of the kids that came in the 80s and 90s, you've got high spirit souls that are coming in. Even these
Mm,
autistic kids, they're highly spiritual, but they're not grounded. So you
right.
have, all these kids coming in for now because now everything's messed up. So we're all kind of getting ready for changes and awarenesses that maybe in the past we've kind of stuffed away. So I
Yeah.
think now is a really important time for a lot of us to gather and help people because we're the light when other people are going to be kind of in the gray, dark areas, you know?
Yeah. 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 100%. And in these times, it's getting a little more intense to keep yourself grounded in that way.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
And
with
that's I think
everything that's going
that's
on.
it's so important for us too, like, self-care practices. So some of mine are like I like walking in nature, I
Mhm.
garden, I cook, I like being outdoors, I love my animals. So what are some of your self-healing or grounding practices that keep you aligned so that you can do the work that you do?
Great question. A lot of clearing and cleansing practices.
Salt baths?
I tend to be a little sticky, a little bit of a magnet, and so
Yeah,
I find and they're look. I'm not saying I'm. It may be a few weeks of not doing it. You know,
yeah.
life
Give
gets
yourself a
busy, and
yeah.
our parents are getting older, and children are getting older,
Hmm.
and there's just issues around life and busyness, and then all of a sudden you're just like, why am
Yeah,
I?
yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, oh,
Take a breath.
I haven't been doing my work, and
Yeah.
so yeah, there's some clearing and cleansing practices, maybe more along the qigong kind of practices
Qigong is great.
of
Yeah.
releasing, yeah, and more hypnotherapeutic kind of practices that I do on my own. But I have my own more spiritual aligned practices that I do
Hmm.
and connecting with my people, if
Hmm.
you, that's the right way of putting it. And that it helps a lot. It when doing this, especially the more mystical and spiritual work of past life regression or spirit world exploration or natal regression, even or
Yeah.
connecting somebody's guides or ancestor healing. Um, yeah, it's important to before the session, obviously, to kind of ground yourself
Ground
and
yourself. Yeah,
prepare,
clear yourself.
not unlike maybe
Intention.
some priest or priestess, going into a spiritual practice with a congregation or something. But it's also important afterwards too
Right, right.
to do that clearing work,
Absolutely. I
especially if you're
always,
more empathic or.
I'm very empathic. What I say is if anything has attached to me knowingly or unknowingly in this life or any other, I release it to the light of God.
Mm,
And before I begin, I'm like, I'm working for my client's highest good. May their soul find the information they need, and may I be a guide for them, and let it be. And because I
yeah,
have to be out of
absolutely.
it. You have to be, kind of put that boundary, but also while you're in it, you're empathic, but then you got to be able to let it go. And that's the thing. A lot of people that are empaths wind up with all kinds of things because they don't know they're empaths, and they're just like, all this energy sticking to them like a hermit shell and they don't know how to clear it. So I work with a lot of healers that I train so that I teach them grounding and clearing and kind of getting rid of the muck on your energy field.
Mhm.
Salt baths are great. I took one this morning. Those are really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Nature, salt baths, a lot of the energy work, of course, is super important. And of
Yeah.
course, 8 billion people in the world. And there's lots of unique and great ways of dealing with that. So you got to find
Yeah.
what works best for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Prayer and
Mhm.
sage. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sage too. Sage is great. So that gets rid of a lot of stuff. So you have a book. The
Mhm.
name of your book is, would you name your book?
Past Lives Guidebook.
Past
Actually, I
Life
got it right here.
Guidebook.
Where's it?
Let me see.
Hold on a second. I got it right here. This might be backwards, but that's
That's
kind of what it looks
awesome.
like. That's the one you'll look like when you go on Amazon. You can.
Okay, okay. Super cool. I'm on
But
Amazon
yeah,
too. I got 11 books on there. Yeah, three of
uh,
mine are the spiritual books, but that's cool. I'm going to look for that. So you got Past Life
Past
Guidebook.
Lives Guidebook.
Okay.
Uh,
And what is your website so people can reach you easily?
yeah, so it's Sacred Mystery Hypnotherapy.
Sacredmysteryhypnotherapy.com.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's the best place. I'm on the social medias and whatnot.
Yeah,
That's going to be cranking up here pretty soon. A lot more being active on that. But the best way is just a website and a way to get in touch with me. Happy to talk with anybody if you
beautiful.
consult about this stuff, whether email or a phone call or something. And
Okay.
I work with people around the country, around the world actually,
Okay.
because it works so well.
And you do so you do virtual and in
Actually,
person or
I
just
mainly
virtual?
do virtual
Mainly
sessions.
virtual. And how
And
long does it take? How long is a session usually?
depends on what people want.
Okay.
It's either generally I do about three and a half hours.
Ooh,
And I know,
okay.
yeah, that sounds like a lot, but
Yeah.
generally what we'll do is we'll pick a time to do this work and we'll discuss a little bit about more. We'll send
Yeah.
emails back and forth, lots of emails uh, about what the session is going to be like, maybe even some practice recordings. And but we'll spend a few minutes at the beginning just to kind of lock into what you want
Right.
to discover or to heal. And we'll have a if you've never done this work before.
Right.
Now, somebody with the experience that you have, I wouldn't probably do this, but if someone's never experienced this, and
Yeah,
that's
they got to
often the
know,
case,
right? Yeah.
they're brand new to they've never meditated, they've never done any sort of hypnosis, they've never done past life regression.
More
We'll do a
groundwork.
warm-up exercise.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll
yeah.
kind of do a centering, grounding, warm-up
Right.
exercise to
Good.
open up the five
Okay.
senses, open up the third eye.
Beautiful.
Talk a little bit more about the biology of why this is going to
Hmm.
work,
Okay.
and take a quick little break. But that's about a half an hour.
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
so it's really about two and a
Got it.
half hours, 3 hours of the past life regression and soul life regression.
Hmm.
And again, it seems like a long time, but
Mm.
there's so much
Lot to
detailed
it.
information you can get.
Hmm.
And want to make sure there's enough time for the healing that needs to happen. Now, the healing may happen in
Right.
2 minutes, it may happen in 20 minutes,
Well, yeah.
but
Okay.
we want to make sure there's enough time and make sure there's enough time while in that soul state in the
Hmm.
spirit world that we understand more about this current life as well.
Beautiful. Okay, so we're
Purpose,
coming to the
all
end. We're
this
coming to
stuff.
the end of the show. So I want to thank you so much. This has been
Yeah,
the Light Walker's Path. It
Rosemary,
has
I appreciate it.
been a pleasure. And if you want to, contact Craig, you can visit his website or me at rosemaryd.com. And I thank you.